Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Dancing Heart podcast, the place that empowers and inspires you to live in alignment with your heart and joy. I'm your host, Torni Wiggum, here to bring you deep conversations with inspiring guests about purpose, empowerment, and living in alignment. Let's get dancing into this week's episode. And we are live! Welcome back to a new episode of the Dancing Heart podcast. And I am so excited for this week's episode because I brought on an astrologer. Welcome to the Dancing Heart podcast, Yvonne Irene Ulloa.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and get the chance to talk all things astrology with you.
Same. I've been super excited to record this episode and to dive deeper into the energies of 2025. I just knew this year is completely different than the previous year that we had. But before we go deeper into the astrology, let me ask you, what makes your heart dance today, Yvonne?
Oh my goodness. I feel like that has been such a big theme today where my heart just feels so full and like it is dancing. And a big part of it is due to vulnerability. I'm closing out my second year in a mastermind group that has been so close to my heart. And I shared, my goodbye message in there and just the way that it was received by everyone and the messages that I received around how much I'm going to be missed and folks really want to still connect with me even after my time is closing. That just absolutely made my heart sing and dance and feel like it was on a complete world tour.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Congratulations. Completely new beginnings.
Yes, absolutely. Very aligned with 2025 with all of the new beginnings.
Exactly. That's what I was feeling. First of all, what is the energy of, the astrology energy of 2025? From your perspective.
So 2025 is such an expansive year, and there's so much change that is coming afoot because we have a lot of planetary shifts with the outer planets, and outer planets move so slowly. They don't change signs quite often. And this year we have 4 outer planets moving into brand new signs. And we're also getting the full-blown experience now of Pluto in Aquarius. And I was sharing with Torni earlier that the last time that we had 3 outer planets shift was in 1737, and that was during the Great Awakening. And this year we have 4, and we're getting the full experience of Pluto in Aquarius as well. So it's like almost having that 5 experience too.
Yeah, I'm really curious how everything is going to unfold this year with all of this energies shifting or this planet's shifting signs. And also with the full experience of Pluto in Aquarius that's been in and out now or dipping in and out of Aquarius. So it's an interesting year in many ways. And personally, I've been feeling that it has such a different energy, going into 2025, and now we are recording this on the end of January. And January just feels like a big quantum leap. So if this is the energy of 2025, let's see where we are at the end of this year. So, okay, where do you want to start?
So I am looking forward to so many of these planetary transits. And like you were saying, we're already experiencing the energy of 2025 right now. And it really does have this expansive vibe and this expansive feel. And I really do feel like this is going to be one for the history books. This is going to be one of the years where we're going to look back when we're older and we're going to think about everything that occurred and just be completely mind blown by it.
Yes, I can feel that. And I've seen some of the themes in the news and everything that's going around in the world as well. And also from an internal state. So Yeah, you are talking about the outer planet shift, but we also have the nodes are shifting signs. And we have
Mm-hmm.
Pluto in Aquarius, and we also have some retrogrades that's not happening every year as well. So there's a lot of energies.
Yes, there's so much that's coming into play. Every year we can at least count on Mercury going retrograde. Everyone always, expects that. It's not very much to look forward to. And this year we have two additional inner planet retrogrades with Mars and Venus. And these are rare occurrences where Mars, it goes retrograde once every 26 months. And Venus goes retrograde once every 18 months. So the fact that this is
Okay.
happening at
Like
once.
that's happening at once, like the feminine and the masculine, like the planet of beauty and abundance and money with the planet of war and the masculine energies and the action planet. So yeah, let's see how this is going to unfold. So let's start with Pluto in Aquarius. This is the first year we are having this full experience of Pluto in Aquarius. Like what can we expect? Like what shifts of energies can we expect? I know that we have had some previews on
Mhm.
what to what to get, but yeah, explain
So with
more.
Pluto in Aquarius, we've been getting our toe dipped into that energy since 2023. We've had a couple little experiences and we've seen some things occurring. I think the main one that we've been noticing a lot is AI has come forward. And the reason for that is because Aquarius is the sign of innovation, it's futuristic. So we are going to see a lot of things I feel that used to be in sci-fi movies or things that folks, were dreaming up of what the future could be like. I think a lot of that stuff is going to be coming forward and we're going to see things that we just dreamed of or we used to see on those movies and we used to think, oh, that's never going to happen. I mean, look at how much AI has become a big part of folks' lives. I know people who are in business who use it as their virtual assistant, who use it to help them with content planning and just even making their lives easier. So I feel like we're going to see a lot of technology upgrades as well come forward and even some new innovative technology as well.
Yes, I was attending this AI or like a summit event in Dubai earlier this year, like a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about AI and the technological shift that we'll be experiencing. And they said that over this year of between 2022 and 2026, we will see a development of like 100 years of technology development. So yeah, that just says everything.
Yeah. And especially when you think about technology in the past, like when I think about, when I was growing up and before it used to be, oh, having a landline was so big. And then we have like the cell phone, like first coming out, the internet first coming out. And what I've noticed in the past couple of years, since we've been dipping our toes into Pluto and Aquarius, is that it feels like it's so much quicker with the technology advancements. Back in the past, it used to feel more slow, more gradual. It was very easy to keep up to date. And I feel like with this Pluto and Aquarius energy, we're really, needing to keep up with this stuff so we don't get left behind because it's advancing so quickly.
That's true. It goes really fast. And talking about the speed of technology, and also I feel like the speed in general of this year is like everything is just speeding up. Even though like manifestations and just things that I've been thinking about, is just suddenly it's just there.
Yeah, I feel like things are really speeding up for us. And that's why I do feel like as we emerge more into the Pluto in Aquarius energy, and even as we start to step into the Uranus and Gemini energy, I do feel like we're going to see more people becoming accepting when it comes to AI, technology advancements, and more people getting on board and even wanting to learn how to utilize it. Because I know at the beginning, we saw a lot of resistance. A lot of folks were like, no, I don't want to learn this. I don't want to give this a try. I don't want to experience these new things. But I do feel like we're going to see more people shifting towards that energy of acceptance and wanting to learn more.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. We need to keep up with
Absolutely.
more. Yeah. So that's a good thing though.
Yeah, I think
If
that's one
that
of the beauties that will come forward with that, you know, Pluto in Aquarius energy for sure.
amazing. And we also had the change in the nodes on
Yes.
the 11th of January. So that just happened a couple of weeks ago. So we switched signs from into Pisces and Virgo from the
hmm
Libra and Aries. And what does that mean?
So for the past 18 months before January 11th, we've been working with the North Node in the sign of Aries and the South Node in the sign of Libra. So with the North Node, you can think of it like the North Star, what we're growing into. And the South Node is what we are shedding and what we are releasing. So major themes that were coming up for North Node in Aries was really being sovereign individuals, really stepping more into our independence, even putting ourselves first and taking initiative on what we're desiring. And with the South Node in Libra, we are seeing a lot of those themes come up around relationships in particular, because Libra is very relationship orientated. And we're letting go of some of those shadows that are connected to, those unhealthy relationships like codependency, people pleasing, putting the other person before us and constantly self-sacrificing ourselves. And I think that was something that was really important for a lot of us to understand, because we do live in a society, especially as women, where we are told, we need to take care of everyone and make sure everyone is attended to. But we don't receive the reminder to also fill up our own cups and take care of ourselves. And I see this so much, especially with my clients who are mothers or who are in a position of caregiver in their family.
Yeah. So for anyone like, hey, look back and see in terms of these themes that you were mentioning in Aries and Libra, what's been happening in your life, because I know in with astrology it's easier to go back and just reflect what has happened and then like, hey, oh, that's exactly, and when you were mentioning this, like, yeah, that's aligned with what's been happening in my life over the past 18 years, like the themes that you were mentioning. So amazing. And then we will move into Pisces Virgo, which is a complete different energies and themes, right?
Absolutely. Pisces and Virgo is going to be very different themes. I feel like the main key point with Aries and Libra was, in order to have a healthy we, you need to have a sovereign me. And the energy of Pisces is what we're all being asked to embrace, because that is where the North Node is. So there's going to be a lot more, compassion that we're being invited to hold for ourselves. Pisces, I like to think of as, it's ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So this is a really beautiful time to dive into having that unconditional love for yourself, unconditional love for others, holding more compassion. It's also a beautiful opportunity to dive into spirituality, enhance your intuition, and really connect with your dreams as well and get in alignment with them so you can bring it into reality.
Mm, amazing. I love that. It's going to be such an interesting time if people start to connect more with their intuition and, yeah, of this energy of unconditional love.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely going to be a lot of folks who may be experiencing even their first spiritual awakenings or even diving in deeper. Because as you know, it's always a journey and we're always up leveling and elevating in that respect as well.
Mm. So that's what we're moving towards with the
hmm
Pisces. So anyone listening can look at where they have their Pisces in their chart and what house it hits, and that will tell you more, and also what planet's in there, right?
Yes, I definitely recommend checking where Pisces is in your chart, because that's going to give you some themes, especially when you look at the house. The house will tell you some of the areas of life that will be impacted. And then if you have planets in Pisces as well, you may feel this even more strongly, and you're going to have different themes that are connected with the planets rise up as well during this transit. And we'll be in it for the next 18 months.
Yeah, so it started in January, and it will be in the same sign until the end of next year.
2026, I believe.
Yes. Okay. So when is the most, because we have this eclipse season, is that when we're going to feel it the most?
So we're going to have eclipses, and eclipses occur every 6 months. And we're going to have some eclipses that are going to be taking place on the Pisces Virgo axis. And that is a time where we may feel it even more strongly, because eclipses are like supercharged full moons. Those are lunar eclipses. And then solar eclipses are like supercharged new moons. And especially if you have more energy in Pisces in your chart or more energy in Virgo, depending on what sign is being activated during that eclipse, you may feel it even more strongly.
So yeah, go check where you have your Pisces and Virgo in your chart and look more into the themes of that house, so you can see more what energies you can expect from these nodal shifts and also the eclipse season that's coming up. And I know that all of these outer planets, there are shifting signs more in, like first we have Neptune, is that right?
So we have so many all of the outer planets are essentially shifting signs. We have 4 that will be changing into brand new signs this year. We have Jupiter, we have Saturn, we have Neptune, and we have Uranus.
Okay. Which one do you want to start with? Because this is super exciting.
Yeah, I think it's so exciting that we have all of these outer planets shifting, because they all move so slowly. So maybe we'll start by which one moves a little quicker. So the first one is Jupiter. It takes Jupiter 1 year to move through a sign and switch. So recently we've been experiencing Jupiter in Gemini, and we're going to be transitioning into Jupiter in Cancer in June of this year.
Okay, in June. So what are the themes of that transition? So what's have you been experiencing with Jupiter in Gemini versus Jupiter in Cancer?
So Jupiter in Gemini, Gemini is such a communicative sign. So a lot of us may have had experiences that were, we're communicating more. We're wanting to learn. I notice with Gemini folks, they really love to learn as well, and like take in and, synthesize all of the information. They love to communicate. And it's also probably for some folks, it's been a time where they've probably reflected or taken care of more with their nervous system, because Gemini rules over the nervous system. And so this was a really beautiful time. And, as we're recording, we still are in Jupiter and Gemini until June. So this is a beautiful time to like take care of your nervous system, find the tools that help ground you as well. And it's also a really beautiful time for writing, for communicating, for anyone who's been wanting to start a YouTube channel, a podcast, a blog, any way to get your voice out there. This is the time to do it.
This is the time before June.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the time to take action on those Gemini themes, and obviously, also check what house in your chart has Gemini to get a deeper look at what themes could be arising for you. And also check to see what planets are there, because that's also going to influence what can come up for you.
Yeah, go and check your chart. And you said it's going to move into Cancer.
Yes. I'm really excited for that transit, actually, because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, and in astrology, exaltation means that that planet is happiest in that sign. It does its absolute best in it. So we're going to really get to experience Jupiter at its finest while it's in Cancer.
Oh, that's exciting. So when was the last time it was in Cancer?
So the last time was 12 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
for anyone who is born actually with Jupiter in Cancer, when Jupiter moves into Cancer this June, you're going to be going through a special transit that is called a Jupiter return. And we all experience Jupiter returns every 12 years. And this is a time where we can experience a lot of luck, a lot of abundance, a lot of good fortune. And it's a really beautiful transit. It's one that so many folks actually look forward to all of the time and try to track. So I definitely recommend thinking about what happened 12 years ago, and that can give kind of a theme of what could come up.
Mm. And that's more in, and for the collective, you said it's the sign that it really thrives in, Jupiter and
Mhm.
Cancer. So what do you think we can expect, or what energies can come up in this with this transit?
So Jupiter in Cancer is such a beautiful energy. And especially when it comes to connecting more with our intuition again, that theme is coming up because Cancer is a water sign and the water signs are very intuitive. This is a really beautiful time for nurturing and practicing more self-care as well. And I feel like there's also going to be a very big baby boom. A lot of people are going to be getting pregnant and having babies. And I do feel this because Cancer is connected to the mother archetype. So I do feel like a lot of folks are going to be going through that stage of motherhood. And again, it can also even be like getting pregnant with an idea and then birthing it and bringing it out into the world. I think this is going to be a beautiful time for creativity and just bringing in new ideas and new life. It's going to be really beautiful to experience Jupiter in its happiest placement.
I'm quite excited for this transition, actually, for Jupiter going into Cancer. Yeah.
Me too. I think it'll be
Yeah.
really beautiful. And also, home. This is a theme where like home can come up a lot because Cancer is also connected to the home. And, it could be buying a new home, moving, uh, renovating your home. So the home can also come up a lot for folks. And also in the aspect of this is a beautiful time for healing because the water signs are connected to healing. So healing around themes of like ancestry, the home, our relationship with our mother, even like how we grew up and the inner child. This is a really beautiful time to really take the opportunity to reflect and do some healing as well.
Wow. Amazing. It sounds like a very soft and gentle transit.
Yeah, it
So,
definitely has that soft, gentle vibe for sure. It'll be very different from Jupiter and Gemini, where I feel like maybe a lot of us were feeling like, I want to do so many things, and we may have potentially, overstimulated ourselves. So this is a
yeah.
nice time to retreat and practice some of that care.
Mm, great. So, look forward for that in starting in June. And we also have Uranus that you were talking about
Hmm.
moving into the sign of Gemini.
Yes, that one I think is going to be super exciting because when I was looking back at the times in history when Uranus was in Gemini, that actually coincided with the invention of the telephone and also the invention of the radio. So I do feel like we're going to see some really big upgrades when it comes to tech during this transit. And we can even see something brand new that can change and innovate our lives in terms of tech. Because think about the fact that the phone was created during the last Uranus and Gemini transit and how much phones are a big part of our day-to-day lives.
Exactly. Wow. That's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, I'm
And that
really excited for that.
and that's also happening in from July.
Yes. So we have Uranus transitioning into Gemini, and we're going to actually get our toes dipped in there because it's happening from July 7th to November 8th. So we're going to get to have that experience, and then it's going to dip back into Taurus one final time, and then it's going to be back, and we're going to get the full experience. And this is really special because Uranus is a slow-moving planet. It takes 7 years to move completely into a new sign. So it's going to be quite the time for innovation when it comes to communication, when it comes to tech. And I think we're just going to see so many cool things getting created, and more folks even, again, having more embrace for what is happening and like these changes that are occurring. I think we're going to see a lot of folks shift from that Taurus energy, because Taurus can be, kind of stubborn, and it wants to hold on to things. It doesn't want to experience change. And, Uranus energy is like, no, we got to bring in, that change. We got to shake things up. And Gemini, I think, is going to really embrace that energy.
Yeah, it's such a great experience to be alive during this time when all of these transits happening. And Uranus is also this like sudden change, like this energy can be like coming out of nowhere, like what has just happened. So yeah, let's see how it's going to unfold and what we can expect in the field of technology and innovation.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. I feel like Uranus energy is like the lightning bolt. It just sometimes comes out of nowhere and you completely do not expect it. But I think Uranus energy is very beautiful at the same time because it does bring the shakeups that we need to kind of loosen whatever chains we are holding on ourselves so we can experience that freedom.
Yeah, because it's also related to freedom,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
So people wants to be liberated and create life on their terms, or however that's gonna look like for each one of us. Mm-hmm. That's super exciting. So we have some months left with Uranus in Taurus. So it's still going a little bit slow until it just hits off in July.
Yeah, we're still experiencing that Uranus and Taurus energy. And then, once July comes in, we're going to get that Gemini influence. So it'll be quite a contrast in energy for sure.
Yeah, that's how I feel too, from the stubborn Taurus Earth energy into Gemini that is more quick moving.
Yeah. And I feel like with the Taurus energy, we've been so much more focused on Taurian themes. So we've been focused on, money, the material world. And that was stuff that, we were really valuing. Food was also like a topic that was coming up a lot. And with Gemini, Gemini values knowledge, it values communication. So it's going to be also quite a shift in what we value and what we're going to put more emphasis on. I do feel like more people are definitely gonna want to potentially like invest more in like their own learning, exploring topics of interest. Like that's gonna be the thing that, people are gonna be very interested in during this transit.
Exciting. That's good. That's great. And then we have Saturn moving into Aries.
Yes. So Saturn is moving into the sign of Aries, and Saturn, it changes signs every 2.5 years. So it actually takes about 30 years to move through all of the signs. And this is actually something that I was reflecting on because we're currently in Saturn in Pisces, and Pisces is the 12th sign. Aries is the first sign. So like this is a 30-year Saturn cycle that is finishing. And we're getting a new start with that Aries energy. And what I thought was also interesting is, as I spoke about Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. Saturn is actually debilitated in the sign of Aries. That's where it's most unhappy. And the reason for that being is think about, going to Disneyland with your child. And your child is small. They're so excited to go see Mickey Mouse. They want to run. And that is the Aries energy. The Aries energy wants to run, it wants to initiate, it wants to start, it wants to go do the thing. And the parent is like the Saturn energy, where, it reaches out and it grabs the back of the child's shirt and then pulls the child back in and goes, no, we need to slow down. We need to make sure that you're walking with me. Like, give me your hand and let's calmly walk over to Mickey Mouse. And that's more of that Saturn energy. Saturn is like an energy that can sometimes restrict. It asks for discipline. It asks for us to slow down and really take the time to assess things before we're taking action.
It's such a contradictory energy to the other transits happening this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because, again, that Aries energy wants to shoot for the stars, and the Saturn energy is kind of like, love that you want to do that, but let's make that plan first. So when we, go out there and we take action, we're able to do so in a way where it's planned out. Aries energy can be very impulsive and may not have a plan. So it's kind of like the flying by the seat of your pants energy. And Saturn is like, we need to have a plan. So when we're able to go out there and execute what we need to, we're able to do so in a way that is efficient and still allows us the opportunity to embrace all of those energies that are connected to Aries, like being independent, being a leader, being an initiator, being the person who kind of like sets the fire for other folks and gets them excited and hyped up.
So we get a little bit of both here, like this fast happening Uranus in Gemini, and then we have Jupiter that's like nurturing in this sign of Cancer, and we have Saturn like, okay, you got to be the leader, make a plan, move, but like not too fast,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we also have Neptune also moving into Aries, joining Saturn for a party.
Yeah. And again, it's very interesting because Neptune, it stays in the sign for about 14 years. So this is even slower. Like we saw Jupiter 1 year, Saturn 2.5 years, Uranus 7 years, and now we have Neptune 14 years. And what's very interesting with this, again, is if you think about the zodiac wheel, it's currently in Pisces. So again, it's also wrapping up a cycle. And it's entering into a new energy with Aries. And what I thought was fascinating when I looked back at what's been going on since, Neptune has been in Pisces. This occurred in 2011. And this was around the time when more folks were getting into spirituality. And even, folks who were stepping into it and making it their business. People were making money off of this and able to make a livable income. More people were interested. So it'll be very interesting to see that transition from the Pisces energy into Aries, because Aries is definitely that energy that sometimes can bring in like tension. It can bring in conflict. And I do think that one of the things that we are going to see a lot with this Neptune and Aries energy, especially for folks who are in the spiritual community, is we're going to see a lot of people take back their personal power. I've noticed personally that sometimes when, even with myself in my own journey, when I started, I would give more power to my teachers and I would see them as authorities, and I wouldn't really tap into my own intuition. I would think, I'm going to just listen to what my teacher says, what the guidance that they are giving to me. And I do think that with this energy transitioning to Aries, it's going to be a lot of people realizing like, oh, I actually can access my own intuition. I am my own guide. I have messages and wisdom deep within me. I just need to learn how to listen and cultivate that. So I do feel like we're going to see a lot more people stepping into their own personal power, embracing their own gifts, and being able to put them out there and share with folks.
Nice. Yeah, and also with this North Node in Pisces, where it's also the theme of listening to your intuition, trust your inner guidance. So that will also be supported by the Neptune moving into Aries and helping you to step more into your power and trust your own inner guidance.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really beautiful thing that we're stepping more into that energy. And it's really going to allow people the opportunity to, step more into their own personal power and really embrace the fact that they are the authority of their life. It's not some teacher. It's not someone who has a business who is telling you what to do. It's you. You have the power.
You have the power. Yeah. So if you have this dream that you have been wondering if you should take any steps into it, I think this year is the time to really take that brave steps into creating your new reality by trusting your intuition and just taking the steps forward and make it happen.
Absolutely, especially because Neptune energy is connected to our dreams, our wishes, what we want to manifest. And, when it's in Pisces, sometimes with Pisces energy, we're so stuck in the daydream and we stay in there and we don't actually take the action and the steps to make those dreams into a reality. And I think that's the beauty of the Aries energy coming in, because Aries is the initiator. It starts off the zodiac. It kicks off the spring season. It has that, again, fire energy that's just ready to take action. So for anyone who has a really big dream, a really big goal, something that you've been wanting to do and you've been putting it off, this transit is going to be so supportive with getting that energy and motivation up and running.
Nice. And then just do the things that you have been dreaming about. And with the supportive energy of 2025, I believe we're going to see a lot of people stepping into their power and just, getting started.
Yes, and I think it's such a beautiful and exciting energy. So for those who are waiting for that, energy, we're going to experience this on March 30th. And we're going to, again, have a dip our toe experience, because we're going to have this until October 22nd. And then it's going to dip back into Pisces for a short period of time. And then it will be back and we'll be fully in this energy of Neptune and Aries.
Okay, so this is still a transition time, 2025. And when will we have the full experience of all of these planets? Because some of them are also, Uranus is also dipping back into not Gemini, but Taurus.
Yes. So next year is when we're going to get the full-blown experience like we're getting now with Pluto. That'll be next year for these planets that are transitioning a smidge.
Okay, so it's a sneak peek this year, preparing us for what's to come and what's to come to stay energetically. Absolutely. And these new innovations and new way of thinking and just being and creating. And I also heard that this is the time for the visionaries, the dreamers, the creative to really step up and to make it happen.
Yes, that's definitely a really big theme that is coming in with this astrology, especially with, the nodal shift and then the Neptune and Aries as well. It's really calling out to all those folks who are the visionaries, the dreamers, to go out there and take action. And I always tell folks, pay attention to the themes that come up, especially when we're dipping our toes into the energy, because that can give a preview as to what the full experience will look like. So I definitely recommend for folks to pay attention to those dates that were mentioned and take note what is happening. And then, that'll give more of a clue and insights as to what themes you could be dealing with next year when we're in the full immersed energy of some of these transits.
Nice. Yes. Pay attention to the dates and the previews and to go within it and trust that in yourself and take that action. It's time for a new way of being and creating and switching the things around.
Absolutely.
And if you've been feeling different, I don't belong anywhere, this is your time.
Absolutely. And I feel like, especially with folks who are feeling like they may not belong, this is your time to also create the community and call those people in, because I always share this with my clients who come and want to especially look for guidance around career. You know, you are a lighthouse and you're calling in your soul coded people, your soul coded community. And if your light's not on, they can't find you. So for all of those folks, like, this is the time to turn on your light and call those folks in, call that
Mm.
community in, call those clients in.
Yes. Call them in by just switching on your light and just be there in your power. And you were talking about communities, because I know that's also a theme for the Aquarian energy, like talking about the age of Aquarius. It's time for the communities. And is it about creating community for the people that resonates with you? And I also heard that we're going to see some more communities out in the world, like people tending to one place, and here's where we're going to create and live in communities.
Yeah, I feel like there's a big theme with communities because Aquarius is connected to that energy of community, and also it's connected to the energy of friendship. So I feel like a lot of folks are going to be making friendships that are very authentic during this period, and even creating communities. And that can be communities in person or it can be communities online. So this is really a beautiful opportunity where if you're, you know, looking at, for example, like Facebook groups, and you're not really seeing something that fits in or really aligns with you don't have to limit yourself to looking at groups that other people have created. This is the time to really step into your own authenticity and think, I'm going to create my own group. And this is what, you know, we stand for. This is the vibe of this group, and really being your authentic self. And it's going to help call in people who really resonate with that same energy.
Nice. Yeah. Connecting with people from around the globe or whatever in your local community or worldwide. Like, there's no limitations here. Only
Yes, and I think that's the
opportunities.
beautiful thing, because I remember being younger and thinking, oh my gosh, like I have to make friends with people from like my school, my like immediate community, because that's what you think of, you know, that's your world. And now we're in a day and age where we have like the internet, we have access to travel more, and you can like go to different locations, you can meet folks in the online space and really make connections with people who align with you. You're not limited to just what's near you anymore.
Mm. Oh, that's great. That's great. Great to see that everybody can find their own community. And if it doesn't exist, you know what to do. It can be created. And it can be created from anywhere. Like, I mean, I'm living in a small town in the middle of Norway, and I even have my community worldwide. Like, so everything is possible. And let's move into the retrogrades that we talked about initially in the episode, and then you were mentioning we always have the Mercury retrograde happening every year, so that's not a stranger to people that the Mercury retrogrades is happening. But can you tell, for those of them like not aware of that energy, what can I expect during the Mercury retrograde? Because I feel like there's a lot of, oh my God, Mercury's retrograde. Don't send out this text message. Everything is delayed in terms of communication.
So
Yeah.
with Mercury retrograde this year, it's going to have a similar vibe to last year because the retrogrades are taking place in fire signs. So this is going to be a really great time to revisit old projects, reignite the spark on some things. And again, because it is Mercury related, I always do tell people be mindful of how you are communicating and speaking with folks. It's definitely a read it before you send it kind of vibe, because the fire signs can be impulsive. They can, you know, be guilty of the foot in the mouth syndrome, where they say something and then they instantly regret it and they're not able to take it back, and it can cause, you know, potential issues. But this is going to be a really great time to reignite, you know, creativity as well. The fire signs are very much connected to that creativity. I think retrogrades are one of those things that do get a really bad rap, but if you do take the time to work with them and really workshop the themes that are coming up for you in your specific chart with where the sign is located, the house, and you really work with that energy, you are rewarded when the energy goes direct. So I always do invite folks, take the time to go internal. That is the whole point of retrogrades, to go internal and really get reflective. So once the energy goes direct, you're ready to go and you've done the reflection. And I notice with folks who don't really take the time to reflect, they're kind of hit with that when it goes direct. And they're like, oh gosh, like I have to think about all those things and how I'm going to change things up.
Yeah. And it doesn't really last too long either with the Mercury retrograde. I think it's only like around 3 weeks. And then you have the post and the pre-shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when is it going to happen this year, the Mercury retrogrades? So you can be like, this is a time for reflection. You can put it in your calendar right now.
So the Mercury retrograde dates, we have March 14th to April 7th, and then July 17th to August 11th. And the final one is occurring from November 9th to November 29th.
Yes. Mark the calendars for the dates. So you can just prepare yourself for a little bit. It's good to have it in the back of your head.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's always good to prepare.
It's always good to prepare. Yeah, I think so too. And talking about preparing, I was like the Mars. I know that the planet of action went retrograde on the 6th of December in 2024. And it's still retrograde until February 23rd. And it was so weird with that planet because it's not weird, but I really felt the energy of that going retrograde. Suddenly, I just felt like somebody just hit the brakes. I was in such a good flow with all of these projects and starting something new and was really in my workflow. And then boom, I'm like, what just happened? And then I was like, oh, Mars went retrograde. That explains everything. Did you feel the same?
Yes, and I have had so many folks share that same vibe as well, because the thing with Mercury retrograde, why we feel it so strongly, is because Mercury is a personal planet, and we feel that as well with Mars because Mars is a personal planet, and we feel that too with Venus because they're personal planets, so they impact us more deeply. And I heard that from so many folks that the moment that Mars went retrograde, it felt like they were asked to take this pause and things were slowing down. It was not flowing the way that it was. But it's very interesting because when we work with that energy of the Mars retrograde, when it goes direct on February 23rd, it's going to make it so much easier for us to take that action and get back into the flow and the swing of things.
That sounds great. It's been like, yeah, like you explained, it feels like everything was just not to put on hold, but it's going slower. And I just felt the difference in the energies. I was like, what just happened? Like something is off. I couldn't really explain what it was, but yeah, knowing that Mars was in retrograde at that, like, yeah, that explains everything. So you saying that it's going to flow more at ease after it goes direct from the 23rd of February. I'm looking forward. So it's speeding up again with all of the other transits and energies. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I think it felt very, yeah. And I think it felt very like a slog almost to the start of the year for folks because, we start the calendar year on January 1st and everyone probably had, intentions, goals, things that they wanted to do. And it's quite a contrast to the Mars retrograde energy where it's saying like, hey, like, let's slow down, like, let's take a little bit of a break and then, really reflect on these things and then take action when we're ready.
Mm. Yeah, so you have about 3 weeks, a little bit more than 3 weeks until it's turns or goes direct. So then we can expect the energies and the flow to take up the speed again for a bit, and and the action, the desire to move forward and take action. It's going to be feel easier with that
Absolutely.
energy. Mm. And and then we have Venus going retrograde from the 1st of March. What to expect?
So Venus is going to go retrograde from March 1st to April 12th. And we're going to really be feeling this energy. As I said earlier, Venus is a personal planet. And what I ask folks to do during Venus retrograde, because it's a beautiful time to reflect around love and relationship themes, and then also getting in touch with what do we prioritize and what do we value. And for anyone also who has been feeling like, they haven't experienced a lot of joy, this is a time to really reflect on what is it that brings you joy? What is it that brings pleasure into your life? So once the energy is direct, you can start implementing and bringing these Venusian values back into your life and incorporating them in there.
So it's a time for reflection of your values and what brings you joy and what you... Nice. That's a nice retrograde, like a nice reflection to be in terms of these energies of Venus.
It's
It's
a
not as
really
harsh.
beautiful energy.
Yeah.
It's not as
Yes.
harsh as Mars.
No, it's not. And what does it matter? Like you said, it goes retrograde in the sign of... Which sign is it going retrograde in?
So it is going retrograde across two signs. It's moving through Aries and Pisces.
Mm-hmm. So is there any specific themes that we can expect from this retrograde, apart from the ones that you already mentioned?
Yeah, so with Aries, there's a lot that could come up around like our passion, our desires. We can experience potentially conflicts with folks, and this could show up through like romantic relationships, platonic relationships, familial relationships. Aries energy can bring conflicts sometimes. Be mindful of impulsive decisions that come through or impulsive like inklings, because Aries is so prone to that impulsive energy. But I think one of the beautiful things that's going to come forward with this is it's a beautiful opportunity to be honest with yourself around what you need, and being able to express that to yourself, I feel like, is always a beautiful start and a great way to build up that courage, so then you can express it to the other folks in your life so they know how to, fill your cup as well.
Tending to yourself and just really what you value and what you need, and learning how to express that to the people around you. So nice. I love that. That's such an interesting year we are about to... We just started with the first month. So from an astrologer perspective, what are you most excited about this year?
For me, I am most looking forward to, oh my goodness, there's just so many transits I'm really looking forward to. I really am excited for Uranus and Gemini. I think that's going to be such an amazing time to be alive. I feel like it's definitely going to be a time period for the history books, especially when I think about what amazing innovations came through and how we still utilize them to this day, and how they've been so advanced and upgraded from the moment that they started. I'm really curious to see what gets created during this time. And I think it's going to be a really cool thing to say, like, I was alive during that time. Like, I was there. I witnessed it. It's like being a part of living history. So I'm really excited for Uranus in Gemini. And I'm also really looking forward to this Pluto in Aquarius energy and really dipping our toes even more deeper into it and seeing all of the innovation that is going to come forward.
Yeah, like this two, like the combination of Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius, like that is, yeah, that's going to be excited to see how that's going to unfold. And yeah, and what a time to be alive, like making history. It feels like it's going to be a lot of history making this year. If you have one word to really not explain, like if you would put one word for the energy of 2025, what would it be?
I definitely feel like it would be expansion. This is a very expansive time with all of the transits that are occurring, and all of the changes. So this is really the time to embrace expansion and embrace allowing yourself to be big.
Allow yourself to be big. I love that. And also, like, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I think that's very aligned with everything that you've been talking about in terms of the transits and energies in general for 2025. And yeah, I heard also about there's a lot of be clear on your intention and what you want because it's going so fast. So if you're not super clear on what you want, it's you because you're gonna get it. So get super clear and then just start to go or embody that energy of your intention and just see where you're gonna end up by the end of this year.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this is the time to get very clear. And especially right now, while we're in the Mars retrograde, this is like the perfect time to get clear around your goals, what you want to take action on, and what you want to see occur. And that way, once the energy is direct, you can really go out there and start to take action. And, this is also a beautiful time to create, steps and make them really actionable and small so you can achieve things. So definitely if you're setting goals, I always love to set milestone markers for myself. And then I break down what it would look like for me to achieve those milestones. So I have kind of mini goals in place because I know sometimes when we just set a goal like, I want to make $100,000 this year, if you don't have actionable steps, it just looks like a really big goal that's very hard to reach. And I think about it like a ladder. It's like having a ladder with no rungs. You're going to get up there. You're going to be struggling because you don't have the rungs to support you and help build you up to that goal.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very good practical tips for anyone to work with while Mars is still in retrograde. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Is there anything else that you want to share in terms of the astrology and the energy of 2025?
I think with this year, it's going to be such a beautiful point for reflection for folks. So definitely embrace like the retrograde energy for that opportunity to really reflect on those themes and have an openness with these energies, and especially these like new energies that we're transitioning in, because I do feel like when we are more open, it is more easier on us. Because I like to think about it like instead of swimming against a current and fighting it, we're floating along with it and we're able to move with it and have that experience.
I love that. So thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdoms around the astrology, Yvonne. I really, really appreciate you coming here and taking the time to share this with people because I think it's so helpful to spread the knowledge of astrology to more so we can be more prepared for what's to come and what changes what we're gonna witness during this year of expansion and transformation, not only on the personal level, but also on the collective.
Yeah, I really appreciate having the opportunity to come on and speak and share about this, because that's why I love astrology so much. It is a beautiful way to learn and understand how to navigate with the current energy and use it to your advantage. And I think it's just such a beautiful, expansive tool, and definitely something that I really encourage folks to explore and learn how to work with more.
Yeah, and if they want to work with you and have a personal astrological reading, where can they find you and what do you offer?
So I am on Instagram. I am Yvonne Irene, and that is also my website, www.IamYvonneIrene. And I offer a variety of astrology readings. I think it's such a beautiful, in-depth topic. So I have folks who work with me who want to learn how to, travel with purpose or need support around relocating. So I work with astrocartography clients. I do birth chart readings with folks, and I always ask people, like, what is it that you want us to explore? So I get a lot of folks who want to dive deeper into love and relationships. And then I get people who want to dive really deep into career. So I have specific readings for love and relationships and career. But I also get people who are like, I just want a general overview, or I want to get both. So I always encourage folks when they're booking readings with me to take the time to fill out the form and really set the intention for what it is that you want to receive, because that's always what I want to do for my clients. And, for people who want support around timing and transits and understanding the astrology and how it's impacting them, that's what my astro timing readings are really wonderful for. And if anyone wants to dive in and explore compatibility, you can do that through synastry readings. So I get people who want to explore with their partner, who want to understand a relationship with like a friend. And I even have people who book and want to understand how to best, work with their children. I think that's the really beautiful thing when folks really want to use it to have, support in relationships as well.
That's amazing. Wow. Thank you. And yeah, if you're curious and want to learn more and go deeper into your chart or in any of these areas, go and book a session with Yvonne. I will put your link to your website in the bio on the description of this episode, so it's easier to find and go directly.
Oh, thank you so much. I really recommend, if anyone is being called to dive deeper into their astrology, there's usually always a reason for it. So I really encourage anyone who felt a pull or a call to definitely explore and dive deeper into the subject.
For anyone feeling called to go and book a reading with Yvonne after listening to this episode, she now offers 15% discount on all of her readings to all of the listeners of this podcast. So use the code DANCINGHEART and that will give you a 15% discount of all of her readings. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. And I wish you the best of this expansive and transformative year that we are currently in, 2023. Have a beautiful rest of your day. You can also tag me on Instagram. It's Torny Wiggum. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!